Okay, so we will now do a run cycle, and so we're going to bring in our blank animation. So I'm just going to recent files and go into anim blank, and then we'll do a not save, and then we'll come into this file and hit F to frame, and again we just get that blank file, and then I'll turn off the facial controls because we don't need those right now. And I'm going to move over to animation 2 just so I have a little bit more screen space to work with. All right, and then from here we just want to, this is using Richard Williams' run cycle. So like in the walk cycle, we have a contact, passing position, and then we have a down and an up. So basically a run cycle is usually around 15-ish, 16 frames. So with that in mind, actually we're going to do, since it's basically a half second, we will go with 15 frames. And so we'll just figure out those in-betweens again. So basically this is correct with being 1 being the contact position, and then we switch over to 7, and then we just flip that over to, well, this will be 15 by the time we get that. So we just want to look again how we have, like with the walk, our hips are going to be rotated around. Let's see here if I can do some drawing here. And so with that, again, let's go with this different color here. Let's go with green. And I'll make this a little bit smaller so we can see this. So with our hips, we're going to be turning again like that way. And then our shoulders are going to be coming back, so opposite. Okay, so left leg back, left leg, or with left leg being back, we're going to have left arm going forward and vice versa. So right leg coming forward and right arm going back. Okay, that's going to be the number 1 contact position, and then number 7 is just going to be opposite of the number 1 pose. And then exactly, we'll build the poses exactly how we did with the walk. We'll we'll do an in-between on the passing position. Okay, so the passing position, we're still on the ground, we're coming up off the ground, and then the 6th frame is basically where we get up and off the ground. With a lot of run cycles that I've seen in gaming, a lot of people will animate the walk cycle. Just basically, there's not really a lot of bounce to a run cycle. Sometimes you can see a lot of really great run cycles in games, but sometimes beginners, when they're just starting out too, they won't put that bounce into the hips, into the root. So you can see this, we get this nice, so as we transition, right, it's like that. So we get that bounce. So the highest position is going to be right here on the number 5 frame. Okay, and then the lowest position is going to be our down position on 2. So we're just going to be going down with those. And then you'll notice too the hips, again, the same. We get that nice, that's not nice, but you can see that we're getting that same bounce, right? Getting that down, up, and then we'll just repeat that on the other side. So with that, we're going to switch over and we'll just build this pose first, the number 1 contact pose on a run cycle. So let's head over here, and from here I'm going to, so first off I'm going to grab the right foot and I'll put that, I'm going to put that like so, and I just want to make sure So I will usually to push, like this one's a little back, so but I do usually like to push the and you'll notice too that our torso is going forward. We're leaning into the run. Okay, so we're basically our spine isn't straight up and down, but our spine is like this. Okay, our torso, our hips, everything are at an angle. So with that, we want to put that angle. Okay, and then I will go into the spines and just lean that a little forward. Actually, I'll go more with one down and then two kind of in the middle, and then the chest kind of leaning up and in. So so it's more like an S kind of, well, not really an S, but you can see the line of action is going to be more like so. And I will lean the head. I'll put the head probably like so. If we look here, okay, so so with our right foot forward, whoops, there we go, right foot forward, and we'll push this out so we're like that, and push this one down. Alright, so I'm going to actually go to my left view and just make sure. So I'm going to bring that root down just so I can get this. I want this almost completely touching the ground here, but I don't want the knee popping straight. So just ever so slightly, okay? So for the blue, for the left foot, we'll see this one is, we're brought back and we're at almost a full stride. Okay, so we'll just pull that back and then rotate in X and then push it back just so we get almost like that full stride look. Okay, and we can bring that up and rotate like that. Alright. So, and I am using on the pole vectors, they're basically, I'm going to set these to follow the foot, so that way they will stay with the foot as we go. So, okay, and we are staying in the center for now. And then so left arm or right arm, we want to come back. So I'm going to take the clavicle and rotate in Y. And then grab the shoulder, rotate that back, and then turn this in X. So I'm just kind of looking at how this, so if we look at this arm, it's basically, so we're swinging all the way back. And then we have a little bit of rotation in Y, okay, on the elbow. So you can see, so with this one, with the left, we want to bring that one forward, okay, and grab the shoulder, and with this one, we'll pull this one up and forward, and then rotate in X. And then this one, I'll grab the elbow and rotate in Y. So his arm's basically up front. Okay. With this, you can kind of play with too, like how you like the pose. What you like in a run? Like when you see a good run cycle, what do you like about it? Is he pulling his, hands up close to him, or how? I mean, there's so many different runs. If you really analyze what people are doing when they're running, you can see, there's a lot of interesting runs. So, with this, I will probably just, first things first, I want to go to my, I'm going to go to Maya Classic Workspace just so I can pull up my studio library. Okay, we created that studio library in our idle animation, so we just built that actual idle pose. And so for this one, we can just go and make this where I just click this as a selector, so I'm just selecting all, and then I'm going to hit S on frame 1. Okay, and then probably frame 15, I'm going to also add another frame. Okay, so with this I also want to, let's see here. Okay, so we can mirror with our mirror table. So we might want to set the mirror table here. So with the plane, it's going to be X and Z, or Y and Z, because we're flipping over this way. So Y being up, Z being forward. So YZ is the mirror plane, and I'm going to just call this mascot mirror. And so left side has left and right side has right, and then I'll just hit save on that. And I don't really need a thumbnail, so I'm going to ignore that. Okay, that just sets up the mirror table for that. So for that, we can actually, with our studio library, I'm going to actually set this to 15. This is all the frames we're going to need for the run cycle for now. Okay, and then about frame, let's go with frame 8 being the other contact position. And so from here, if we go to a new pose and save this as our run contact pose, and just save that, and say sure, we'll save that out. Okay, and then for this one, we will, I think we can just mirror here. So we want to mirror and apply. All right, so we get that pose already mirrored over for us on frame 8, which is great. And I'm just making some little adjustments here, like turn this arm back, because I don't want it going back like how it was. Just that mirror on the rotation was a little weird. Okay, so with that, we'll go back to our selection set, select that all, and then hit S to set a keyframe. Okay, and we can actually just, I'm going to hide the studio library for now and go back to my animation 2 workspace, and we will look and see. So our passing position is going to be our in-between. Okay, so that looks like it's on frame 4, but this is going to be, so I'm assuming that 4 is going to be exactly, that's correct. So if we look, so our right foot is going back, so we want our right foot basically being set down on the ground. So if we look at translate Y and set that to 0, that'll put our foot back down on the ground. Okay, and rotation, can put a rotation of 0 back on that. And so from here, I'm probably just going to push this. So if we look, that it's almost like he's getting ready to push off, not completely. So here, if we put a little foot roll, not we're not too much. I'm on let's go 2.5 on that. So 2.5. Okay, just push that leg back we're not completely there yet. Okay, so you'll see also that our left foot is starting to come forward, okay, in that run. So with that, so if we look, our foot's kind of pointed down, okay, we're starting to come up and forward, and our arms, okay, so this arm is basically coming back. So I'm actually going to put Y rotation and then go back to the shoulder and just rotate on X, just kind of bring his arm in. So it's coming back, but it's not all the way yet. So this is in between, right? So in between from all the way forward to all the way back. So we may still need to adjust that, but that's okay. With the other arm, I just want to kind of pose this one out as well. Take a little bit of rotation out of the elbow in Y, and then rotate on X and bring his arm almost down to his side, like so. Alright, so with that, let's take a look. Oh, and one thing that we didn't do was put our rotations into, we didn't put our rotations into our spine. We can add that later though, which is fine. So this I'm going to, actually let's go back and add those now. So on the chest and spine 2, we will add that X rotation. Okay, X rotation, probably about 16 or 17-ish. And then I'm going to grab the neck and just bring that forward. Or just put a counter rotation on that. Okay, so with that, I just want to make sure that I grab the 2 spine objects and the neck. And then I'm going to go from 1 to 15, and to do that I'm going to grab the middle mouse button and go to 15 and hit S. And then for 8, I want to mirror that position. So I want to go back to Maya Classic and bring up the studio library again, and then go back to, oh, can I not have, let's see here. Okay, it looks like it wants to hide that every time. So I'm going to go back to Maya Classic here. And from this one, I will go, let's see. I just want to actually grab this. So from here, I'm actually going to go back to run contact pose and remake that pose again. Let's see. Actually, so new pose, and I'll just call this run. Whoops. So on name, run contact, and just, whoops, I want to save everything. So I'm going to grab character all, say new, pose, run, contact, and then save. Say sure. Okay, that makes a new one. This is the other one that we had. So this one I'm going to actually delete. So edit, move to trash. Yes. Okay, so this one, and then we'll move to frame 8, and we'll just do a mirror. Okay. Just making sure. Actually gonna shrink this window down just a little bit. so I don't lose. All right, so and then to 4, just want to make sure this pose. So we're starting to go back. So actually I'm just going to say character all and hit S. This sets a keyframe on everything. And if we look, so this one, actually this is, okay, this is our passing position, right? So our next passing position is going to be on frame 11. So from here, if we go to 4 and we copy this pose, this is going to be run passing. So run passing and save that, say sure to a thumbnail, and then we'll go to frame 11 and do a mirror. So doesn't look like it like that. So with those arms, just want to make sure that my arms are correct here. So I'm just holding down Shift, selecting these guys, and say apply. Okay, so it didn't do completely what I was looking for, but that's all right. We can adjust it. Got it a little closer though, so that's good. Actually, I'm going to grab this arm once more. So just the arm and say apply. Actually, this passing position, I was doing it on the wrong, shoot, that's my bad here. So 4, I'm actually going to select everything, go to 11, go to passing, and say apply. So let's see what we're getting from here. So this one, well, that's going to overshoot, so set this to 100 and apply that. Okay, so not getting the right, this one's coming back, and this one, so I'm going to bring that down, rotate that in, there we go. So now, so we're just kind of doing a little switcheroo there. Okay, so boom, boom. Okay, so if the starting, we don't have the down and the up happening right now. So what we want to do now is add the down position. So where we land and plant and come down with our hips. So with that, I'm actually going to break that down on frame 2. And so we'll grab that foot, and actually I'm just going to hide, actually close the studio library for now. I'm not sure what happened there. So, okay, go back to Animation 2 Workspace. And from here, I want to rotate in X back to 0 and place my translate to 0. So that foot is actually planting. Okay, then I'm going to grab the root. Just bam, I'm coming down. Okay, back here we can actually add a little bit more rotation. And up. So bam, okay. So we want that down plant on frame 2 as we see that. And our arms are still basically staying forward on that. Okay, so you'll see that the right arm is actually starting to come down just a little bit, so we can put a little bit into that and just push that out a little bit. Okay, actually in Y. There we go. Okay. So now we want to go past our passing position and do our up. We're going to actually let the computer do the in-between for 3 and 6 pose. Well, 6 pose we'll probably we'll put that one up in the air. But for now we'll go with the 5 and 6 we'll go. So after the 4, so we'll, at the 5 frame, okay, our arms basically still down, and then back here, we're basically going to be pushing off completely, and so I want the foot roll to almost come, let's go with maybe 6.5. Okay, and then I'm going to push that back. And then also, so since this is going to be our up position, we want to really push that. Okay, it may look like we're just making sure I'm pushing that foot down, so we don't want the stride to break that shape, that knee shape. So as we look at this, down, this is going to be our up, okay? And then 6, I'm actually going to put probably a little bit more up in the air on the 6 pose. Okay, so let's look at that 6 pose and actually just push that up. Okay, and then this one, I want this leg coming forward. And I'm just going to really push that stride. Okay, and then this one, I'm actually going to push this one, take off the foot roll to 0, and then put a full rotation. Okay, and then on that stride as well. So we're basically pushing off and we're in the air. Okay, on that frame 6. So like boom, boom, okay, boom. And then so now we need to do the other side. So we're like here. Okay, so with that, we'll go to our 2 pose, our number 2 frame pose. And actually for this one we want to push, push this. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the root and the left foot, and I'm going to push that over to the left. So bam, he comes down, and he's going to push off. Okay, so here we're probably going to want our translate to our root. Our translate x is at 0, which is right in the middle, right where we want it. Okay. We're going to fix that back and forth in the graph editor. Okay, so frame 2, we will go back to Maya Classic and just open up our studio library. And so this is going to be the down position, so we'll say collect character all, and from here we'll create a new pose, and we'll call this one, oops, character all. There we go. And then we'll say new pose, and this is going to be our run down pose. I'll just say pose, so save that, say yes. Okay, and then so from frame 2, we're going to go to frame 9. Okay, frame 9, I'm just going to middle mouse drag to frame 9, or just middle mouse click on frame 9 actually, and we're just going to say apply. So we're just mirroring. Okay, we may need to adjust, getting some weird, a little weird rotation on that. I'm looking to see what's going on here. I didn't get keyframes on all my objects for frame 2. So I want to go back to 9 and do a run passing or run down position. And actually I'm going to uncheck and just do a mirror. Let's look at that. That arm is not doing that. So for this one, go to frame 9. Okay. Looks like it is a little bit. I do want to bring that up. Okay, I'm just looking at this. Doesn't look like the mirror is actually. So minus 7. So I want this one to be plus 7. There we go. And just make sure that, yep. There you go. Okay. And then we have our 5 pose is going to be our pushing off pose. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So this is kind of pushing off. So let's see. I'm actually going to open up So with Maya Classic, I'm actually going to just switch to animation and look at my translates on the Y currently. So I'm just going to frame that. So I'm going to get rid of that one. And then this, I'm going to push, actually I want to rotate that. Yeah, so that rotation was not getting placed on that key. There we go. Okay, so frame 5, I'm going to open up our studio library and do a select all and just hit S just to set a key on everything, and then say new pose, and this is going to be our run. We'll just call it run 5, or basically this is our up. We'll say run up 1 or run up 5. So this, we'll just remember that this is our 5 position. So we'll save that and say yes. Okay, and then from this one we're going to go to frame 12. So I'm going to middle mouse drag and then run up 5 pose, and we're going to mirror. So 5. Okay, 11, so 12, we want this one here. Okay, actually I want the key to actually happen as well, so I'm setting a key there. So 5 to 12. Our arms are not mirroring correctly. So 5, so with this, I want to look at how our arms are, right? We have the L shape with the right, so we want the L shape with the left. So I'm just going to make those how I want them. Okay, then this one I'm going to bring down. It's basically to its side, like so, getting ready to go down. There we go. Okay, so 5, 12, 5, 12. I'm just looking to see if I'm getting that same posing. Looks like I am. Okay, so from the 12 pose, actually I'm going to select all, hit S to set a key, and from the 6 pose, so actually I'm going to go to 6, okay, and then I'm going to actually just go straight to 13 and see if this works. So if I set a key and then is there a way that I can mirror that pose? So if I just hit pose here and say this is going to be our up, we'll say run up 6 and save that pose. Okay, create a thumbnail, and we'll just apply the mirror. Okay, and here I need to put that rotation back in. So I'm not getting the rotation that I want. So if I look at frame 6, alright, so I'm actually going to select all my arm positions. So arm positions, I don't want to be using any of those. So actually I'm going to just delete these. So 8, 9, delete that. So now all I have is 8, 11, 15. These are just going to be my in-between poses. So I do want the in-betweens, which is fine. 2, that's fine. There we go. Okay, we're getting some weird rotations, but we can fix that. So actually I'm going to go to the clavicle as well. That looks right. So I'll grab the right clavicle and just go down that arm. And so here I'm going to delete frame 2. So delete, frame 5, delete, frame 9, delete, and then 12 and 13, delete those as well. So now we have just those. Alright, so I'm just going to close down the studio library, go to animation 2, and from here, this is where we can start to tweak now that we kind of built our posing in. Okay, so I do want this, we do want to clean up the root. The root is getting some weird rotations. Okay, so we just grab our animation workspace, and so we'll just look at the translate X. So translate X, right? So we want to delete these, and then we want to delete these. So frame 11, I actually want to delete that as well. So 1 is our down, or okay, so from here, just going to select these and bring these tangents so they match, just so they're smoother. Not looking at anything else right now. Just the root. So I'm getting that bounce back and forth. Okay, so I want to my translate Y. Look and see what that's doing. So I'm just kind of bumping these up a little bit. Whoops. Don't need those keyframes. When you see a frame that looks, so I'm going to undo that. So you see how this, it is subtle. It's subtly going up, but if we delete those, it's not really affecting the curve all that much. So we can just go to this one down here and tweak that. Okay, and then we can turn on the